All right, we're back in business. Today we're going to talk about ISO 9001 2015 Quality Management System presented to the public as a public awareness seminar. All right, waiting for the participant to join in. Okay, we have one participant, that's me. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to set it up once everybody joins in. Okay. And while everybody joins in, I'm going to concentrate today on talking about the process terminology. What's the importance of building a process? What are the management principles, standard and main clauses? And I'm talking about what we are lacking in the Middle East in the implementation of any quality management system. I can also relate to factors that's happening with us, especially with the coronavirus, and how can we use the coronavirus too. Right. All right, we have people joining in. We're very close. I think it's 10:58, so we have 3 more minutes. All right. We should start by Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Always. Okay, we have another one. But I'm doing this because the system of ISO 9001 2015 was, we don't want to say recently, and it's been now 3 years. But till now, I've seen all over the Middle East that people are implementing ISO 9001 2008 without proper transition and immigration to the new standard of ISO 9001 2015. All right? Yeah, people coming in. All right. Grass. Yes. All right. We're starting in 2 minutes. Yes. All right, we're all set. It's 11 o'clock. All right, all set. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to start by saying good morning to everybody joining me. I'm going to talk about today ISO 9001 issue year 2015 Quality Management System Awareness Seminar. This is a public awareness seminar. Today's content, or what I'm going to talk about, is what is ISO, what is the quality management system, comparable terminology. I'll talk about the difference between the old system and the new system. I'll talk about the principles and how can we apply them. I'll talk about the standard code, and I'll talk about the implementation process. The main thing I'm going to try to talk about today is what is the difference between the old system of quality management system and what is the difference between the new quality management system. We're talking about of 2008 to the system of 2015. I hope you can all hear me very well and clear. If you can't hear me very well and clear, just holler or give me a message on the chat line and I'll try to improve the voice messages. طبعا at the end of my seminar, I'll talk about the summary. Oh, thank you, Rar. You can hear it very clear. At the end, I'll talk about the summary and I'll talk about how can we use the quality management system to combat the coronavirus and how our countries who are using quality and who are successful in combating the virus till now. I cannot predict for the future. How did they do it and how did they use quality as part of their system to win the battle against the coronavirus? I'm going to talk about, first of all, some history. The ISO organization refers to the International Organization for Standardization, founded in 1946 in Geneva. Geneva, Switzerland have technical committees and we draft standards through these technical committees. طبعا they are growing day by day. The latest count I had was 180. I don't know if there are more technical committees right now. And these committees sits down and draft standards and everything around the world. I think when I started practicing qualities in the 90s, only 7,000 to 8,000 standards. Today, we have more than 80,000 standards till now. Okay. Now, concerning the quality management system, the quality management system is drafted in by the Technical Committee 176. This Technical Committee 176 is the one that gives us the rights and participates in drafting standards and so on. All right. Now, concerning the application of the quality management system, our Technical Committee 176 is headed by a German guy. He's very intelligent. He's been running the standard for so many years, and he's helping us achieve successful implementation of the quality management system. This system started as an inspection and as a manufacturing functions in 1920s and 40s. The main drive behind drafting the ISO 9001 quality management system was and is what we call the Second World War II. The Second World War II, we know that the American with their European allies went to war and they almost failed against Hitler. One of the main reasons for losing the war in the beginning was that they did not have what we call a main chain of command, one chain of command where they can communicate properly and talk properly. Now, this all have changed and they have improved and they drafted the system. The first one was 9001. It was drafted, our first draft was in 87, then revised in 94. It was revised again in 2000, and then 2008, and today we are applying 2015, the latest standard. The standard is built on document, implement, maintain, and continually improve your effectiveness. Now, how can we build a quality management system in any organization? There is only one proper way of doing it, and that's by making quality everybody's responsibility. You get everybody involved. When you start documentation, you get the T-boy involved. You get the cleaners involved. You get the maintenance people involved. Not or without excluding top management, because let me talk about the system that being applied in the Middle East, South Asia, Europe, compared to the US. In Asia, most of the systems that were successfully implemented had a proper top management driving it. If you have a healthy top management that believes in the system and believes in the drive, they can automatically succeed in implementing the system. How can the system be a responsibility of any person in any organization? It's easy. The answer is easy. Get everybody involved. When you have a project for implementing quality, embed the quality process inside your own process. Don't let the quality process be a separate process from your quality management system. Always embed them as one, and then assign responsibility to people and formulate teams. To get everybody involved, you need teams. You need people's participation. You need people to get involved. You need people to understand their roles. The more team formation, the more involvement of people, the more success you will have in implementing the system. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a top management. Let's say you are member of top management and you want to go into a swimming pool and the whole team is with you. What do you do to get the team jumping inside the water? First, you jump in to tell them that the water is clean and warm and they must use it. Start giving them swimming lessons. Include everybody in the swimming session. And at the end, when you get out of the swimming pool, thank them for participation. That's exactly what happened when you implement the management system or the quality management system. طبعا, if I document everything, that's the question you will tell me. Will I have value? Can they get rid of me? Can they bring a robot to do my job? No. At the end, someone has to audit this system. At the end, someone has to modify the system and amend it. So whatever they do, even if they computerize the whole system, there should be people running it. Till now, we don't have a system around the world that run only by robots. We've seen a very big experience or a science experience done by Facebook to run the whole world through robots. And we've seen them at the end taking the wrong decision and maybe blowing up the whole system. So they have decided that the only people, and again, I'm stressing only people can run the quality management system. Now, what is the project phases in the implementation of any quality management system? The answer is as per the following. You start by the awareness seminar, and then you do an awareness campaign, and then you do the documentation, then you do a documentation workshop, and then you go into the implementation. And during the implementation, you go ahead and you do the internal audit training. Once your audit training is completed, you can go into something we call mock-up audit. All right? This is how you do it. Now, concerning the what we call the project phases, the project phases always comes between 5 to 7 phases. It's a standard. You can easily apply it. And it talks about the successful implementation of any management system. Now, the management system can be successfully implemented by anybody. Success does not depend on the organization or its size and how big it is. Okay? It never depends on size the organization. Now, how successful can you take the quality management system? The answer is easy. The success factor of the quality management system depends on having a successful top management and a quality manager. The quality manager is the MR. In the system, we call him management representative or the MR. I've seen so many systems succeed very enthusiastically because they had successful top management and successful MR, management representatives. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and which is very important, is the quality management principles. So in 2008, we had 8 management principles. Today, they have been reduced to only 7. Starts with the management principle number 1, customer focus. Imagine they started with the customer, which is something very, very important. Principle number 2, the leadership. Principle number 3, engagement of people. Principle number 4, process approach. Principle number 5, improvement. Principle number 6, evidence-based decision making. A lot of people ask me, what does it mean, evidence-based decision making? It means when you take a decision, when you issue a directive, when you talk to your employees always have an evidence to back you up. The evidence here could be information, data, could be anything. Information means any type of media. It could be flowcharts, it could be what we call purchase orders, it could be a balance sheet, it could be an operational plan, it could be a tender plan. This is part of the evidence-based decision making. And the last principle, principle number 7, they talk about relationship management. Relationship management is how do you run your relationship with the outside world. This is a very important principle, and they mean by the outside world is how do you run your relationship with your suppliers, how do you run your relationship with banks, how do you run your relationship with insurance company that runs your contracts, how do you run your relationship with governmental bodies, and finally, how do you run your relationship with your board of trustees, or member of the board, or people who are running the company, top management, board of governors, or could be members in the boards. And these are the 7 management principles. Now I'm going to talk about the process, and I'm going to mention first the 10 main clauses of the quality management system and how to apply them. And then I'll talk about how do you move your system from a procedure-based system into a process-based system. طبعا the 10 main clauses starts with scope, clause number 1, clause number 2, normative reference, clause number 3, terms and definition, clause number, that's 3, terms and definition, clause number 4, context of the organization, clause number 5, leadership, clause number 6, planning, clause number 7, support, clause number 8, operation, and how do you run your operation, clause number 9, common sense, performance evaluation, and clause number 10, improvement. I talked about our technical committee 176 in Geneva, in Switzerland, by the ISO organization. It's headed by a person, German guy, very intelligent guy, name is Nigel Kraft, and he built the system into 10 main clauses as a startup or as a revolution to make this system first smart system. It can be integrated with any other system, environment, health and safety, occupational safety, information security, food safety. So he wanted to build a very smart system that can be integrated with our smart life today. You've seen that we are confined to our spaces. We need to use digital media and digital intelligence to talk to everybody else. And this is how he built it. Nigel built the whole system around the intelligent, what we call media world, where everybody can interact with each other using media. And the second thing that's embedded in the system, he designed something called Annex SL. The Annex SL is a hierarchy that will unify all the standards around the world. So in your organization, you can apply quality, environment, health and safety, information security, health care. All these systems can be integrated into one. So instead of having a team for every system, you can have one team that runs multiple systems. This is called a very smart system. And instead of using documentation, paper, he used documented information. He didn't want information to be only on a piece of paper. It could be any type of media. It could be ran through what we call video conferencing. It could be run through digital media. It could be an online form. It could be an acceptance form. It could be a form sent to all your customers asking them for opinion. So the whole world is moving toward digital media. So our technical committee designed the system to be intelligent, talk about only documented information. Now, since we talked about the 8 main clauses, I want to talk about now the importance of applying the system and what's the difference between the reference structure of the system, the old one or the new one. طبعا, I'm gonna try to share a screen with you. I hope you guys all see it very clearly. All right, let's see. And in the screen, I'm gonna show you the difference between the old management system and the new management system, okay? All right, I'm trying now to build up the screen so we can all together look at the system of ISO 9001, 2008 and 2015. And I want to talk about organization around the world and how they are not applying the system up to its standard and how can we improve, okay? The sharing slides are working right now. So on ISO 9001, 2008 was a procedure-based system. Let's say, give an example, you want to walk through the wood. You want to go from point A to point B and you're walking in the wood for half an hour. What is your procedure at that time? You'll talk about what is your dressing, how will you set up your dress, what you will wear, and what you will see during the, what we call movement in the wood, and how you can get to the other side, what are the steps. All this has been finished with the use of the new standard. The new standard is a very important standard, and it talks about how can we apply the standard to a different multiple movement, okay? Let me see, I'm having difficulty starting the share screen. Now it's working, great. All right, now I'm gonna show you the sharing screen. Somehow I'm having difficulty. Let me try to do it again. Let me close this. All right. Somehow the sharing is not working. It was working in the morning. I don't know why it's not working. Let's try again. All right, share. All right, I hope you can see the share screen now. All right, and let's go to where I want to reach, which is the comparison between the two standards. Can you see the screen very clearly, guys? Okay. Now this is the...
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. I can hear you. ISO 9001, 2008. This is the 8 clauses, and this is the 9001, 2015. They've added context of the organization, slide 4. They added leadership. They added planning, and they added support. It wasn't there. Okay. All the other things were there. But the main difference between the old and the new is the process approach. That's the first principle, the main difference between the old and new. And the second one is the risk-based thinking. طبعا Nigel Croft called it risk-based thinking. طبعا the first one, which is the process approach, means although in the past we were asking you to build a procedure where you can write the steps, remember going from the jungle from point A to point B, what are the steps? Today we care more about performance. In a process, you do have to write the steps, but you will have something called input and output. Yani to run through the wood, what's the input? I have to wear, let's say, my sports uniform. Number 2, maybe I need a bottle of water. Number maybe I need to know the distance and how I'm going to measure it. And the output would be reaching point B in half an hour. That would be a measured output. In the past, we were only caring about the details and how do you get from point A and point B. Today, all this doesn't matter. What matters is the output. How can you reach the output? How can you measure it? And how can you achieve it? If you don't achieve it, there is no process. And remember, you don't have to build any procedure without processes. Today, you build the process and then you embed inside the process the procedure. We don't have something called procedure-based system. We have process-based system. A process is something that looks upon the overall picture. It looks about your input, output, it looks into your KPI, key performance indicators, and it looks about into your risk. How do you manage your risk? And then you can put down the procedure steps. So we're not into what we call detailed engineering work, thinking about the steps and not caring about the output. If you don't reach point B, remember we said running through the wood from point A to point B. If you do not reach point B and you stay in the wood, you don't have a process. You have nothing. Plus, in the process today, you have to tell everybody that you're going to reach point B in half an hour. And if you're late, why you're late, and by how much you're late, and why did it happen. طبعا, this is some of the changes from the old standard to the old new standard. We used to have quality manual, management rep, preventive action. All these were canceled into something we call, as we talked about, context of the organization means what is the internal and external issues affecting the organization, and then action to address risks and opportunities. Come on, remember when I started this, I said the whole standard, the new standard is built on two new things. The first thing was built on was the process approach, and the second one was risk-based thinking. And these are the major changes in the new standards: risk and opportunities, context of the organization, and interested party. Today, you have to define the customer, what is his needs, how you're going to satisfy the needs, and what is your strategy to achieve your customer satisfaction. So they added as a moderate what we call here control of the provided processes, and they talk about for the first time something called outside processes, or processes that you can only control but you don't execute. Yani, let's say you are in a building and you have security in the building. You bring a company to run the whole system of security. You're not involved. Your involvement mainly is monitoring and measuring. See how many people they put at the doors and is your building safe. This is what we call outsourced processes. Outsourced processes. Outsourced processes is giving another company the partnership to be working with you on the system. So we have design development, performance evaluation, document management, and product and service. So on these, what I talked about, remember when I said our head, Mr. Nigel Croft in Germany, when he built the quality management system with the technical committee 176, they built it with the annex SL directives. It means there is one standard you can use to unify your system with any other standard, any other standards. So when you can tell me the 20,000, the IT, the 22301, management system, business continuity, information security, the environmental, they cannot be integrated. They cannot be amalgamated. I'll tell you, no, they can, because all these standards, when the time comes for the amendment, they will be amended with 10 main clauses as ISO 9001, so you can easily build your system 9001 with all the other systems. طبعا this is what I'm talking about, the basic process model. Today, you can tell me, I want to run the 100-meter in the Olympics. I'll tell you, no problem, go and run. But the main thing is output, desired output. Today, we're about performance. Now you can tell me, how can I measure everything? This is easy now. All of us have mobiles, right? The mobile today can even count how many steps you can take daily, can tell you how to eat healthy food, can tell you how many phone calls you're receiving and how many phone calls you've managed. Today, everything is about performance. And this is what you should concentrate on, performance. How do you add value to your performance? So today, with an input and output, you have a management system, a quality management system. Output that's measured, input that's clear. And then you have in the middle, the management on top, activities in the middle. The activities here are your procedure. This is your 2008. They're embedded inside the process. So if you're running only procedure without processes, you're living in the world of 2008. Today, we are living in the world of 2020. It means we need activity. It means we need procedures. And then you need resources. Resources are your top management resources, your building, your money, your cash, your computers, your servers, your IT system, your softwares. All these are your resources. And on top, you can see on the screen here, top management. Top management. Exactly. This is the basic process model. You can have policy on top, then processes, then work procedures and work instruction, and then records. How can you assess the system? First party audit, we call it as an internal audit. You can do second party audit, and we call this auditing your suppliers, and we have third party audit. We call it the registration process. If you want to get your system certified, you call a registration body to come in and certify your system. It's a company completely, what we call, there's no link between your company and that certification company. They are totally independent and they can give you a report whether you are be recommended for certification. They're more reliable, comprehensive, and they are credible. So this is the process. How do you build the system? Sit people down. I want to show you the process model. Even now, when you go travel in an airport, although most of the airports are closed around the world, they have a process. How to receive you when you come in and how to deliver you at the end. And this is, you sit down, you get approval from the team leaders, you document your system, you have the system ready, and then you have a team reviewing and approving it. And then you design and manage any more value chain like KPIs and risk. And then you document the change, you get approval, and then you bring internal auditors to check and compare against reality and standards. And then once you do that, you prepare your reports to top management and you get the external auditor. This guy is the external auditor running the QMS conformance against reality and standards. And then at the end, you prepare top management report, you convey the study and decide the action of compliance, and you go with the MR for evaluating the whole management system. This is our summary. A carefully documented quality management system is critical to achieving why, what, and where. Operational improvement. Operational improvement leads to successful work environment. Successful work environment leads to reduced cost. Reduced cost leads to market advantages. These are the main benefit of ISO 9001 implementation. enhancing your customer satisfaction. The customer cares. Today, everybody's running all their system through screens, through IT, through mobiles. So they need customer satisfaction. There's no interaction with the customer. We're losing the customer. All our supermarkets, all our shops, all our shopping malls, all our big places, the stadium, they are closed. How can you achieve 9001? This is what you do. You use this system. Improve internal communication. Maintain constantly dependent processes. Link your processes together. Have your processes talking to each other. Once you have the processes talking to or isolated, not talking to each other, you will be running islands inside your company. And this will lead to failure in your company, reduce cost, material. This is our website, www.globalgac.com. If you want to reach us through our Facebook or Twitter, through our website. I'm going to stop the sharing. Your questions and answers. I want to thank everybody who participated in this. All right. And if you want to ask me any question, comment before we close this session, I want to thank you for joining me. Allah will have a better session.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Do you have any question?
Sir, what was its scenario of industries?
Can you repeat the question so I can hear it?
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, I can
hear.
Sir,
how can this quality management system effectively applied in our life science laboratories?
In laboratories. Very good question.
In research laboratories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for asking this question. How can this system be successfully implemented in labs, right? First of all, remember in any given lab, the main thing is you have tests. You have so many tests running. Your best effort.
Experiments.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have tests. The best effort you can do is document all these tests. That's step number one. It's very important that you document every single step in that lab. Number two, after you document all these tests, make all your test result, we call it the final test result report, is dependent on the accuracy of test. Start putting parameter for these tests and start putting risk assessment for these tests. What happens if I give the wrong result? This is what we said in the principle number 2 of the quality management system. Study the risk. Have one risk sheet that talks about all these tests, every single test of them, and what are the risks if they fail. That's option number 1. Option number 2, when you go to the final test report, talk about all the parameters you need in the final test report, because this is your output. Remember, we said the system depends on processes, input and output. Input and output means your final test result should be comprehensive. It includes every single detail you need to know. It includes the test, who performed it, who took the sample, at what time they took the sample, what were the location, what is the measured error, what is the expected error, what is the uncertainty, what is the resolution, how much time it took to do the test, what were the people involved, who are the lab technician, what is the top management involvement, and how accurate is your final result. And if there was any error happen or any what we call unforeseen error that happened during the test, the customer should be informed. That's how you do it. It's a very good
thank
question.
You, sir.
For asking that question. I hope I answered.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? I think that's it. No more questions. Thank you all for joining us. I hope we join again.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. I'll invite everybody for another session where I'm going to talk about KPIs and key performance indicator and risk. All right. Thank you all.
Okay, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye.